Dear colleagues, dear students, welcome everyone, and thank you very much for joining me today. In this session, we will explore a topic that lies at the heart of meaningful, inclusive, and future-oriented education, which is the powerful relationship between language, culture, and learning within the academic community. My name is Dr. Isaac Papadopoulos, and I'm an assistant professor on the emergent literacy at the Department of Early Childhood Education and Care of the International Hellenic University in Greece. Through this presentation, I will also introduce you to an exciting space for scholarly dialogue, the Journal of Language and Culture in Education, and more specifically, a special issue created in cooperation with a colleague, Dr. Verona, from the University of the National Education Commission in Krakow. Together, today, we will see how research can turn into publication and how scholarship can influence classrooms around the world. So, let's navigate through the streets of this collaboration. More specifically, it is important for all of us to realize that language is much more than words. It is an identity or more identities, multiple identities, memory and multiple memories and connections. So, culture at the same time is much more than tradition. It is the lens um, through which learners understand the world. And when we ignore language and culture, we limit language learning and learning in general. But when we embrace them, we open the doors to inclusion, to empowerment, and to deeper understanding. So, today's educational research must reflect this richness, and because our classrooms are more diverse than ever before, we decided to navigate through this special issue, which was initiated and achieved through a very fruitful collaboration. No one can deny that in today's global society, educational research is evolving rapidly, and we now recognize that one-size-fits-all research simply does not work. So we now recognize that, and we need diverse perspectives, context-sensitive methodologies, and cross-cultural collaborations. Only then we can design learning environments where every child feels seen, feels valued, and feels supported. That's the aim of education after all. This is where the Journal of Language and Culture in Education, or the acronym of that LCE, comes in. The LCE journal is an open access international journal that brings together researchers committed to language, culture, multilingualism, and education. Its mission is simple but powerful: to make high quality, global relevant research accessible to everyone. And whether you are an early a career researcher or an established scholar, the Journal of Language and Culture in Education provides a welcoming home for innovative and culturally aware research that can come to us to go through the peer review and then proceed accordingly. This Journal of Language and Culture in Education is a journal published by Disigma Publications, a Greek publisher with powerful progress and updates in academia. So we decided, along with a colleague, Dr. Verona, to have a particular issue dedicated to Dr. Vera Savage. Our special issue developed with this particular colleague, Dr. Verona Kroll-Gerard, from the University of the National Education Commission in Krakow in order to celebrate a visionary scholar, Dr. Vera Savic, who just retired and focuses on teaching young language learners, since Dr. Vera Savic had has an extensive research, teaching and publication biography on teaching young language learners. It brings together research from multiple countries, as you can see, showing how educators worldwide are addressing the needs of children growing up multilingual, multicultural, and deeply connected to the digital world. As you can see, we had specific calls for accepting papers related to teaching young learners in order to celebrate this contribution of Vera Savic. As you can see, this table of contents and the authors that contributed to this particular special issue. As you can see, we had different papers coming from different authors from different countries or even continents. Very nice. So, the theme, as I said, was teaching young language learner, and I was really happy to have co-edited this particular special issue with Dr. Verona Kroll-Giarat in order to celebrate this contribution of Vera Savic. The special issue highlights a beautiful variety of topics, as you can see, and as you have already seen. How children develop literacy in multilingual settings, how translanguaging enriches classroom communication, how creative methods like Lego for writing can be implemented with young language learners. It also focuses on the growing importance of digital competencies as well as the central role of inclusive intercultural and multilingual practices. So these themes, as you can understand, remind us that language education is not only about teaching languages, it's about shaping global citizens, our children, our students, the future citizens of the world. And to be more specific, let's see some of these highlighted articles. We begin with emergent literacy, those early language skills that act as the foundation for all the future learning. And research from Greece shows how narrative abilities develop differently in monolingual and bilingual preschoolers, while another study looks at how enriched language environments influence the first language development of the learners. So these articles remind us that every child's linguistic journey is unique and worth understanding deeply. To move on, we are focusing on innovative pedagogies and practical strategies that make learning engaging and effective. We see, on the one hand, how training in learning strategies boosts the outcomes for young children, while we discover also the cognitive advantages of bilingualism, such as the flexibility, the attention, and the creativity, and how we can explore the use and the performance of translanguaging as a practice that honors the full linguistic repertoire of our students. The message here, as you can understand, was clear. Bilingualism is not a challenge, it is a strength. Continuing with our highlighted articles, we need also to focus on these two articles. On the one hand, it is important for all of us to consider that language is always tied to culture, and research from Nigeria, as you can see, shows how adolescents negotiate linguistic identity, the preferences, and the emotions. And of course, as you can see in the following paper, In the 21st century, the digital competence is essential, so children must learn not only to read and to write, but also to navigate digital spaces ethically, creatively, and critically. Let's focus now on the source and the foundation of that, which is the teacher training. Teachers, as we understand, are the heart of transformation, and studies in this particular issue highlight how crucial it is to prepare and support educators, especially those working with young language learners. We also see powerful examples of inclusion, such as the efforts to support the Ukrainian children integrating into the Polish schools. And these stories remind us that education can be the bridge of hope and belonging. So, how do we move from researching to publishing now? It is important because those of you joining today in this session, we need to identify the real needs, the linguistic diversity, the cultural identity, the digital literacy, and the inclusion as important aspects of the 21st century. Then we conduct a research that is meaningful, ethical, and context driven. And finally, we share our findings through journals like the one we did with Dr. Verola Kroll-Girard so that they can inspire educators around the world. So publishing is not only about academic recognition, it's about contributing to a global conversation and helping shape the future of education. And finally, to close, I want to leave you with this message. A language is connection, culture is belonging, and education is transformation. When we unite all of these three aspects and variables, we empower our learners to become confident, to become compassionate, and of course, culturally aware citizens of the world. So thank you very much for your attention, and I warmly encourage you to explore research and publish in the Journal of Language and Culture in Education by the Sigma Publications. Together, we can make a real difference in the education of young learners. And finally, I need to say thank you to Dr. Verona Kroll-Girard and the University of National Education Commission in Krakow for the fruitful collaboration we have had all of these years. Thank you so much for your attention.